What's going on, everybody? Kelton here from the Mouse Ears Podcast. Brooks isn't here to do it, so I'm going to do it for you. Talking rapid here. I got Steph with me. I got Jenny with me. This episode, y'all, meat and potatoes. I'm telling you, going down nitty gritty of the Lightning Lane system at Walt Disney World. We're talking the Lightning Lane Single Pass. We're talking the Lightning Lane Multi Pass. We're talking the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. And we even bring up the virtual queue. Y'all don't want to miss it? Wow, I was doing so good. Y'all don't want to miss it. Let's roll the episode now.
Well, hello everyone. It is the best day ever. It is Mouse Ears Podcast recording day.
Woo!
With me today, we've got three out of the four of your regular Mouse Ears Podcast hosts. Unfortunately, Brooks is not with us today because today is actually Ellie's birthday. Happy second birthday to Ellie. Sadly, he's not here, but with me I have Jenny. How are you, Jenny?
Hello.
Hi. And I got Kelton. How are you, Kelton?
Hello, Steph.
Hello. So today's episode topic, before we dive in, but I at least want to give you a heads up of what we're talking about because it's a really great topic. It is everything you need to know. Like, I'm talking a crash course, the whole 9 yards.
Plain to see on why it's
In a
going to be good.
nutshell, the Lightning Lane system. What is it? What does it do? How do you use it? Everything you need to know is going to be listed in this episode. So don't go away. We're going to now go straight to our trivia question. Who wants to take it?
I will. I'll take it.
All right.
Since Jenny didn't jump, I will. I don't mind.
I didn't jump fast enough. Sorry.
That's okay. Today's trivia question, as always, is brought to you by the Magic Candle Company. And next time you want a Disney-inspired scent to fill your home or office, whether it may be a candle, room spray, or more, use our special promo code MouseEars for 15% off. If you haven't learned to spell it already, that's MOUSEEAR, 15% off of any future Magic Candle Company purchase. So today's trivia question is, what was the first Skip the Line experience introduced at Disneyland? And what was it called? What was the first Skip the Line experience introduced at Disneyland? And what was it called? If you don't know the answer, just like me, stay tuned to the end of the episode when we find out. Step back to you.
Thank you, Kelton. All right, guys. Or should I say, Mouse Ears universe. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about and sometimes confusing topics at Walt Disney World, the Lightning Lane system. And I do have to specify it is Walt Disney World specific because even though Disneyland does have a Lightning Lane system, it is different than what we have here on the East Coast. Whether you're a first timer or an annual pass holder, like myself, we're breaking it all down for you, what it is, how it works, and how to make the most of your Lightning Lane pass. So let's get ready to skip those long lines and maximize the magic. What is the Lightning Lane system? You're probably asking. I know I get asked that all the time by my clients. I'm seeing nodding of heads. I'm sure you guys get the same questions too because people are always referring to it, the Fast Pass, the Fast Pass Plus, the Genie Plus. I mean, it has gone through so many different iterations. Now it's the Lightning Lane system. And not only is it the Lightning Lane system, but it is a mouthful. Don't know what I'm talking about? You will in just a second.
Buckle up.
So, as I mentioned, the Lightning Lane system replaced the old Fast Pass and Genie Plus system.
Rest in
And
peace.
it is a... I'm sorry?
Rest in peace to both of them.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Okay. Before... I'm
we have
sorry.
a moment of silence. I think we should have a moment of silence.
A moment of silence for Genie Plus and Fast Pass. Thank you. So, okay, first off, the old Fast Pass system, y'all, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking paper. Good old-fashioned paper. We're talking the theme park workout where you have an hour to ride Space Mountain and then take a party of 17 people, hightail it to Thunder Mountain to get that fast pass. But then you have to be back over to Peter Pan because God forbid you cannot miss that fast pass because that's like an hour wait at park opening, no matter what. It was a lot of
Yeah.
walking. Y'all got your
Yep.
steps in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was even before everybody counted steps. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine now? But it worked. And it
It
worked
did.
well.
It
It
did.
did.
It did.
And then, I
And
mean,
it was free.
It
it
was
was,
free.
I'll
but
take those extra steps any day for
Well,
free
see,
fast passes.
and Jenny, I bet you did this too. When I worked there, when I, like family would come in, I was the runner. I held all the tickets, and as they were getting on a ride, you're booking it to the other side of the park to get that Kilimanjaro Safari fast pass.
There was something so fun though about getting those tickets as they came out of the little like
You
Yeah.
could feel
kiosk
it.
machine.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I still have
Yeah.
a
You
couple
could
that I've
feel the
saved.
magic. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
I worked at Tower of Terror at that time, and there'd be people standing there with a stack of tickets, just feeding it in to get fast passes while everyone's over, at Rocky Roller Coaster.
I
So
loved getting those vouchers.
yeah,
It was great. It really
yeah,
was.
okay. So that was original, the OG
the
to
The
a
OG.
point
OG for Walt Disney
for
World.
Walt Disney World,
For Walt
but
Disney World.
and then replaced by Genie Plus. Okay, I mean
Here's the
that's
thing.
about it.
I didn't like Genie Plus until we got Lightning Lane, and then it's just like it wasn't so bad.
They had some big Genie Plus was like that,
Growing pains.
point in your life when you're like 3 to 4 and you're really kind of testing the boundaries as a kid and knowing that because that's kind of what Kenny is going through. So really Disney was at that point, Walt Disney World was at that point, testing
Yeah.
their clients, their customer base to see who was going to pay for it. And then now we have Lightning
Here's
Lane.
my problem. My problem more than anything is why do they have to overcomplicate it with such ridiculous names? And then not only listen, it might be a hot take,
Listen, Linda.
but I had clients who traveled to Walt Disney World in February of last year, and I gave them a whole class on Genie Plus. They decided to then take another trip in the same year to Walt Disney World in September. Now, I had to give them a whole entire class on the brand new system with just as confusing names. But then in Disney's logic was that Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, because they had a Lightning Lane situation still around when Genie Plus was there. And the names were just always confusing people. Yes. But once you got the hang of the system, you got it. Then from a couple of weeks, like from 1 week to another almost, they changed the whole system because Disney says that they were listening to our calls, or our complaints, I should say, about the names being complicated. And I'm not saying that the new ones aren't complicated or are complicated. They're just so long. And then having the name Lightning Lane in all of them.
Yeah.
That's what I sound like when I'm talking to my clients explaining it, and I get so tongue-tied after a while. It's too much, too many words.
Wish that they would have just said, hey, we're changing the fast pass system. It's going to be a paid system. You can still choose your 3 beforehand, but you're going to pay for it. We're still going to call it the fast pass. We're not changing everything over to lightning lanes. And if there's, we'll get into this, but an individual or multi-pass or this or that or premium, and
Yeah.
why didn't
Right.
you just keep it fast pass and tell us we were going to pay for it? I think that would have gone over much better. That's my hot take.
They really should have taken the naming process kind of like Apple and the iPhones. Just slap a number behind it and call it a day. Wrap it up with a big old bow. Call it the iPhone 27, and we are just good to go.
Fast Pass 5.5.
That's kind of, I go to any website, read that number at the bottom. That's we would be up there at that point.
Yeah, listen, the Lightning Lane system is a game changer for any vacation. And I like that they've added like an extra layer to it, which we will get into. We're kind of diving into our personal thoughts right now. But it's just the naming is just not it for me personally. And my personal reason is because I've explained this over and over and over and over again to clients, and I'm like, I get it, but it's like the dining plan. It's the Disney dining plan. You got the quick service dining plan and then the Disney dining plan. Why isn't it quick service and table service dining plan? It
Amen.
is so aggravating. Who out there feels the same way as we do? Please let us know that we're not the only ones that are frustrated by these names. Disney, we are your customers just as much as we sell Disney Vacation. Hear us.
Can we get an amen in the chat, please? Amen in the comments.
Amen. Please.
Let's go.
Don't leave us hanging on this.
Goodness. Okay. Well, now that we got all of that out of our system.
Now that we've had our
It's
feelings.
therapy.
We're going to talk about how, despite the names, this system can simplify your trip and give you the opportunity to maximize on your days. Now, heads up, it can be a little overwhelming, but we're going to do our very best to break it down so that you can get it and that you can feel confident going into your next Walt Disney World trip, whenever it is. That being said, I still recommend booking with a travel agent because they're the best and they're complimentary. Okay, so what are the Lightning Lane passes? Jen, do you want to dive into the basics?
Yes. Do I? I mean, like...
I gotta calm down.
She needs a moment.
So heated.
She needs a moment just to center herself.
It's the names, guys. It's the names.
Oh
it's not
goodness.
the system.
Okay. All right, so follow along. We don't have a flow chart, so let's get your pen and paper and start. And at the top, I want you to make 3 boxes, okay? All right. There are 3 different types of Lightning Lane passes. Now, the way that I explain this to clients, the Lightning Lane is the lane that you're going to walk through to get on the attraction, okay? The Lightning Lane pass is the type of, I don't want to say ticket, but think of it as like a ticket that you're going to use.
Skip the line experience.
Skip the line experience to get into the Lightning Lane, okay? So Lightning Lane pass and Lightning Lane. So the first one that they have is the Lightning Lane single pass. So this is when you purchase.
Single ladies, I know.
Single ladies.
Sorry.
The single pass, for all intents and purposes, just because Lightning Lane single pass and Lightning Lane blah, 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 is going to take away a good chunk of our time.
Yeah.
Well, I wish we could put like a counter in. How many times did we mess up Lightning Lane?
Maybe we'll get Brooks on that. Okay. The Lightning Lane single pass. This is a pass that you purchase and it gives you access to one specific attraction. And it is one of the high demand attractions. So you are talking, like Guardians of the Galaxy and Tron, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Flight of Passage. You're thinking these are the big ones, of course, because they're going to bring in money. So this is an a la carte pricing. So if you decide to get the next pass, we're going to talk about the multi-pass. These are not included in that. So if you want to use the Lightning Lane for those attractions, then, and I think I know I'm missing some, but that is, you have to buy it that way. Okay, I think does Tiana's have it? No, it does not. Tiana's does not.
Tiana's is not a single.
I do believe it's Tron, Seven Dwarfs, Guardians, and Flight of Passage.
That is correct, but that is current, and this could change at any time, and I want people to know that because as you've listened to in our previous episodes, Disney's expanding. We're adding new things all the time. So at the time of this recording, we're talking the 30th of January. Those are the 5 attractions that are currently being offered for the single pass. And like Jen said, it's an a la carte pricing.
Rise of Resistance is the fifth.
Rise of the
I
Resistance.
Oh, is
forgot
it?
Hollywood
Yes.
Studios.
Yes.
Did we?
I for- I
Wow,
forgot.
that's terrible.
So sorry, studio.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That is, yeah, I feel bad too. How did we all forgot? But like, I know Guardians of the Galaxy give or take around $18. But this price does fluctuate. It's typically that, but it can go up and down based on demand. So
Yeah, and time of year and all that stuff. Personally, and I'm going to throw this out there, and I tell my clients this, some of the attractions I will gladly pay that money for, and then some of them I will not. I'll rope drop or wait for a parade or, something like that, do it at the end of the night. But so that's something you have to take into account when you're doing that. The second one, and this is kind of the big all-encompassing one, I'd say the most utilized pass, and that is the Lightning Lane multi-pass. So purchasing this, you get access to multiple attractions. Now this is where I usually lose some people, and we have to work on this. When you buy this, if you're on property, you can do this 7 days in advance, just like with the single
If
pass.
you're staying on property.
If you're staying on property, you can do this 7 days in advance. If you are not, you can do it 3 days in advance. Okay? But when you go to purchase this, and again, like Steph said, the price will fluctuate, just depending on the time of year you're going, and that I have not seen it go above $35 a person for Magic Kingdom. That's the highest that I've seen it, is $35 per person for Magic Kingdom. I think that was like the week of Christmas or something like that. But when you do that, you now get to like the old Fast Pass. You get to pick 3 attractions. So you'll have tiers with your attractions. You get one attraction from tier 1, and then 2 attractions from tier 2, or you could do 3 attractions from tier 2. So you can get up to 3. So, and you can do it across, I believe you can do it across multiple parks. So that, if you're going to be park hopping, that helps.
you'll start at 1, you'll purchase for the park that you're starting at.
Yeah.
And then there are certain strategies, and I recommend getting a travel agent for those because it can get tricky. I don't want you to be overwhelmed with this episode, but you can start at one park, get your lightning lanes for that park, and then when you start to get your other lightning lane rides throughout the day, then you can switch over to a different park. So there are strategies that we've figured out for those things, but that's how you would park hop.
Yep. All right. So now with the way that one works, when you use your first Lightning Lane pass for whatever attraction it is, then you can get one for another available attraction, and you can just keep that going. You can't have more than 3 at any time. So this was a big difference with Genie Plus. You can't like stack your attractions all for the afternoon. You can only have 3 at a time. All right, and then the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. This is a pass where you just get access to everything. So it's there's a cost involved with this. We'll put it the nice way. This can run up to $399 per person per day, depending on which park you're going to be at. So there's a significant cost on this. So it's really, really good for people who really want to maximize their time in the parks and get as much done as possible and do it multiple times. So there's a big difference there, is that you can use it more than once on an attraction. So,
and I think people don't really realize that with the other passes. I mean, the single pass kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You get to ride that attraction, that single attraction once. Multi-pass gives you access to the rides that are in the multi-pass group. Bucket, thank you. But you can only ride that attraction once. So once you've ridden it, it won't pop up on as an option for you. With the Premier Pass, which up until recently was only limited to resort guests and deluxe resort guests, now it's available to everyone, whether you're staying on property or off property. And yeah, I think the biggest thing there is that You can ride as many rides as you want throughout the day, as long, and just keep the
At
train
any
going.
time too. There is no time set.
Yeah, there's no
That's right.
time. You can
It's
just
like an auto lightning lane.
walk
You just
up.
show up, show your pass, and that's it,
It's
If you are,
very similar to something else at another park.
well, I was just gonna flat out say
Are
it,
you
then
going to say it? Yes,
oh
go
yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming over from the Universal Studios world, it's like your what do they call it? Unlimited Express Pass or something like
Unlimited
that,
Express Pass.
where
Yeah.
you just walk right up and go. So now, yeah, it has a more
Another
sticker
big thing,
shocking price, but
yeah,
Yeah.
it is a sticker price shock. But again, you have an ability to move, like to have a very fluid day and to ride it whatever you want as many times as you want, whenever you want. The downfall here, though, is that you're locked into that park for that day. Park hopping does
Cannot.
not apply for
Nope.
the Premier Pass. So, we saw this sell out multiple times for the holidays. So,
mm-hmm.
we're not going to discourage anyone from wanting to use it. Is a great opportunity that Disney is offering, no matter what, especially because it does give people an opportunity to, again, ride everything. For me, I'm someone who takes a more leisure approach, but I go to Disney often. For those people that are going on their once in a lifetime trip, or even if it's once a year trip, and they're like, my only objective is to ride rides and not see the shows, not really care too much about food, do meet and greets, like this is what they want. And heck, are meet and greets involved in the Premier Pass? I don't know. No?
They are
Okay.
not.
They're
It
not?
is,
Okay.
yeah, it is just attractions.
Yeah.
Which
There you
I
go.
mean, it's not.
There is a niche.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, whichever one whichever one you're looking at, I think they all definitely. I used to be very much against Lightning Lane when it came out, but we've used it a couple of times, in the last year, and if you know what you're doing, it can be beneficial. However, I do want to mention the one downfall that I think that Lightning Lane brings when you're at these parks is your nose and your phone. And you're missing a lot of, because as soon as you touch into whatever that first attraction is, or really should be the second time you scan, then boom, you have to get on to get that next attraction. And there's no smelling the roses when you're not,
Yeah.
it has a lot of, the best way I could put it is hidden things, and throughout the parks, all of the oh my gosh, I'm missing the one word that I need, decor, that kind of stuff, the theming of
Yeah.
everything, and you miss that when you're walking through Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. You do miss a lot of the experience of the land and experiencing the queues and, just
Unless you have Premier Pass.
unless you have Premier Pass.
But
So,
and I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea where we are in your show notes stuff.
Oh, it's fine.
But one thing that I did realize when we were there in Disney is the fact that when you are creating your party for the multipass, is that anybody in the party can make the passes. So it doesn't have to be just you, doing, if you're the planner of your family. It can be it could be anybody who has their own My Disney Experience account. Maybe you have to take turns, but that is a nice thing.
one of my recommendations to clients is that when you first when you enter into the queue, because you usually you touch and then you kind of have an idea of where you want to go next. Have a
Ooh,
plan
yeah.
before you leave so that when you get on there, hey, I am looking for this attraction or this attraction. As soon as you see it, you can grab it and then you're done and off your phone. And you can be present with your family or with your friends or that, but have a plan. You you can go into this all willy-nilly, but you're going to be miserable. and you're going to feel like you're missing out on things. Even though you're getting to go through that line and experience the attraction, you're going to be missing a lot. So I tell my clients, and I do this myself, we have a plan of these are the things that we want to do. And I go often enough that, I know I want this to be our next stop or this to be our next stop. We always have two options. So as soon as you open up the app, you know exactly what you're looking for. And you're not trying to sit there and decide, what do you guys want to do next? If I had a nickel for every time I heard that in line, what are we doing next? Where are we going next? Have a plan so you guys can relax and be together.
Turn
Have
around.
a plan.
Yeah, turn around, hand them a card and say, Jen Turlington, Fairy Tale Journeys to Travel. Call me next time.
I wish I could. We're not, that might
I
be
know.
someone else's client, and we don't want to do that.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard because I really want to help, but I don't want to come across as like a know-it-all and like, hi, I was eavesdropping on your conversation, and so this is what you should do. But yeah, that's one of my biggest tips if you're going to be utilizing this, to be off your phone and as present with your family as possible or with your friends. Have a plan on what you want to be doing. So there's my little nugget.
Good way to put it.
Right there. Okay. So we kind of talked about the differences, but I want to touch base on this. So the single pass, that's really good for guests who want to skip the line for the top tier attractions, or maybe you're going to go to Epcot for Food and Wine Festival, but man, you've got to ride Guardians. So, and we've done this. I mean, we've all done this.
Yes.
Guardians
is like a you don't miss. And honestly, the more times I can write it, the better. And I'll just mention this very briefly. Guardians of the Galaxy, it does not have a standby queue like the rest of the single pass attractions. The only two ways that you can ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at this current date of January 30th, 2025, is through a virtual queue that you can only get at 7 a.m. on your park day while availability lasts. Keywords there because they don't.
Like 2 seconds.
Yes.
You have a 2-second window.
Correct. Or buying the single pass. They both sell out. So food for thought. But here's where we can provide you with another, hidden tip. You can, at this point with this particular ride, you can have both the virtual queue and the single pass. Where for anything else, like in the multi-pass, you can go on the ride with the multi-pass, but you can't get another multi-pass for that attraction. If you want to go on it again and it has a standby queue, you'll have to go in the standby queue. But that's a regular line. You won't get a regular standby queue with Guardians of the Galaxy, only a virtual queue. But anyways.
But here we go. The virtual queue will put you in the regular standby line. It will not be the lightning lane. So you'll get to ride it twice, though, and that's all that matters. So, and we've done that. I think we all did that on our last trip. We did it twice because it's Guardians and it's amazing. But the single pass is really good if if that's that one attraction that you really want to go to but you don't want to buy the multi-pass, you don't really care, or you just really don't want to be stuck in that queue, for a long time. The multi-pass is the most widely purchased and utilized and is really, really good for, if you want to do multiple attractions and not wait in the lines. So, and then the Premier Pass, oh Lord. So that's, like we said, if you want to maximize your time, you're going to get through everything, but you cannot park hop. If you want to use that in another park, you're going to have to buy it for another park. At that rate, I would say do a VIP tour. I'm just saying. Okay.
Coming from the therapist for the lightning lanes.
Yes, I am the therapist for the lightning lanes. We're just full of pro tips today, aren't we?
And the show's only halfway through.
Yeah, we're getting there. we're gonna end this, and we're all gonna feel better, and we're gonna feel more prepared. And if not, reach out to us, because this is
There's
what
a
we do.
couple of great articles on the blog,
There are.
mouseearsblog.com. Check it out. I know the people are dying because they want to know how much that Premier Pass costs. Because
Yes.
I always want to know, are you okay if I talk about pricing? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Go for it.
How to buy it. For those that don't know, if you're driving in your car on the highway, don't do it now. But if you're sitting at your desk at work like I do, we don't need to work. People, it's Monday. It can wait till tomorrow. Let's do some Disney stuff here. Here we go. Go ahead and pull out your phone. I'll wait. Open up the My Disney Experience app.
I'm gonna follow along. Hold on.
You should.
Wait, I'm following along.
Mine took a minute to load, so honestly, mine's been sitting on the home screen for like 10 minutes to make sure this loaded. So you have two options, okay, when it comes up. You have the Lightning Lane, which is the multi-pass and single pass, and I'm just going to call them that from now on. I am so tired of talking Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
So the single pass and multi-pass you can buy in one box, and then the box below it is Premier Pass. If y'all can see that, kind of not.
Yep.
Really. That's okay.
Yeah, I could see it.
So let's talk single and multi-pass first. So you have two options. You can click the purchase to buy it, or you can hit the learn more. The learn more is good because it does kind of walk you through some different things, offers you a tip board and all of that. And of course, with the multi-pass, there are some photo perks that go along with it, including an attraction photo download and then a Disney Photo Pass lens. I haven't really used the Photo Pass lens yet, so should probably try that one time.
They're so much fun. They're so much fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that next time I buy it. So we're gonna go ahead and click purchase, okay? And when do we want to go? Because like my mom was there today, being the 30th, so depressing when she's texting me. I rode this. Tron was only 20 minutes. And I'm like, cool. I just answered 5 emails at work. Fantastic. So Monday the 3rd is when I'm going to be going. Actually, I mean, we're there the 5th, but we're going to go the 3rd. I'll try it. Why not? So it comes up with your 4 options. Whoa, come on now. Come on. How does Brooks do that? There we go. So you got, your 4 parks. There it is right there. And you can pick your park and it gives you your options. So from Monday the 3rd, being in February, for the Magic Kingdom Park, you can buy a multi-pass for Magic at $27 per person. Fortunately, Seven Dwarves is sold out, so see how that 7-day thing, if you're staying on property, comes in handy.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Tron is open for $19 per guest. Remember, Seven Dwarves and Tron are both single pass attractions. But you can buy them all, right there. And then you would hit continue. But there it is. But I can't because mine's blurred out. And then, of course, you put your credit card in and Disney takes more of your money. So we have to go back to work and all of that stuff. But that's how you would buy the single and the multi-pass. And I had clicked on Premier Pass when I was getting ready to talk about this. Oh my goodness. The pricing. Almost had a heart attack.
I have the 5th pulled up.
Uh-huh.
For Epcot, and hang with me here. Epcot's $169. Yeah, which, yes, it's a lot of money, but
Think about it. Okay, here we go. Think about it. You got Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival, Frozen. I know you all love Frozen. Come on, don't lie to me. Here's the kicker, and it's included, people. Guardians.
Unlimited Guardians ride.
No more having to be like, oh my gosh, now I have to get the virtual queue at 7. If I don't get it at 7, maybe 1 o'clock, or I can't buy the single pass because it's sold out. Now I'm sad, so I'm going to go eat a Mickey bar and all of that stuff. And then, of course, Brooks here for you, Figment, Living with the Land, always recommended, especially at Christmas. Who
So good.
honestly rides Mission Space anymore? Let's be real. Remy's is great. Soren is
Agreed.
fantastic. Spaceship Earth, thank the Phoenicians, all the good stuff. So for $169, Jenny, not too
I
shabby.
know that wasn't too bad. Like I was a little bit shocked. Now, if I have a family of five, so like that would really add up. Animal Kingdom was 139. I don't think I would pay that for Animal Kingdom. Hollywood Studios was 269, which is a lot, but again, you're talking, Tower of Terror, all the Toy Story land rides,
Can we
like
just talk about Runaway Railway as well? That always seems
yes,
to go fast.
yes. So, Magic Kingdom for the 5th, and I'm talking the 5th because we'll all be down there next week. $329. Now that is a huge ouch, but I'm kind of tempted if Epcot's going to be that kind of price that there might be a day that, if you're someone that likes to take pictures or get content of things, like you're a photographer and you want to go through the queues and really take time and you can go through the queue multiple times, this might be something that you want to do. I'm just saying. Or if you're on a solo trip or a couple's trip and do something special.
Well, also, and you also have to put into the fact that Magic Kingdom has 19 attractions
Mm-hmm.
included in the Premier Pass.
Yes.
So with the multi pass, yeah, that's great. If you're going on a slow enough day and you can't, because like I said,
Yeah.
once if it's just like the paper fast passes, once all the times are booked, folks,
They're
that's
gone
it.
for the day. They're
That's it for
gone
the
for the
day.
day.
So if you're wanting to make sure, like I said, Tron's included, Seven Dwarfs, Space Mountain, Jungle and/or Jingle Cruise, and come on, Country Bear Jamboree, that's not included, but that you got to hit that anyway. So
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion is included, Pirates is included, Peter
Dumbo.
Pan,
Mm-hmm.
Dumbo. We waited 35 minutes, an actual 35 minutes for Dumbo in December. I'm going, what is going on? I've never
And they
waited
have
that long.
two sides.
And it was still, it's still 35 minutes. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Should have had the Premier
Tiana's is on
Pass.
there too. Tiana's is on
Tiana's
there
is on
too.
there. See,
So, I mean, if you can afford it,
Well, here's the thing.
it would be
It
worth
really
it.
comes down to what you guys have been basically covering, what your priorities are. And everyone has different priorities going into their park days. That's why you have to pre-plan before your trip so you can maximize whatever it is that you want to do. Whether it's, hey, I'm having the dining plan. What are the reservations and the quick service and all of the foods that you're going to try and eat? You have to do some pre-planning. You got to pre-plan what is the best game plan, whether it's going to be, I need to ride everything. I want to ride as many things as possible, no matter what. Or, hey, we're going to take it ride by ride. We're having a good time. Or, this ride, I need to ride it. I don't care about anything else. That's what it comes down to it.
and that's something I have told everybody, client or not, friend or not. If you're going and you've done everything but Tron, then maybe just buy the single pass. You
Mm-hmm.
have to figure it out for yourself with the guidance of somebody who may know a little bit more. But honestly, because if it was up to all of us, we would all tell you get Premier Pass. I mean, if you're
Course.
just at that, get the Premier Pass. But not everybody needs the Premier Pass. I'm not going to sell a Premier Pass to a family of 5 when 2 kids don't even have tickets. I mean,
Yeah.
because you're not good, and especially when it's $400, when it's up to
Yeah.
$400,
Right.
you're not going to do all 19 attractions.
In something like that, I would offer the multi-pass because with little kids, you still want to go on a few rides with them, but they might not have the resistance to stand in the standby queue and be there for 45, 60 minutes. So, and I want everyone listening to this podcast to understand too, it is a skip the line experience. It is not a no line experience. You're just going to go, if it's like a 40-minute standby queue, you're probably going to wait 10 minutes, but that does not mean you're not going to wait some. But that is a huge difference, and it elevates the experience, especially for families with young kids who don't have the resistance to be in a long line, even though Disney's a great job with adding interactive activities in some of the queues. Not all of them do have that. And I know, Jen, you as well, you know that there are certain cases where having the lightning lane will help you skip the line because, like, for you and your son, you guys can't stand out in the sun for long periods of time. Physically, you can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
This helps you for that so that your day can actually continue. So, again, what is best for you and your party, and what are you trying to get out of it? And these are things that I'm throwing it out there. When you work with a travel agent from Fairy Tale Journeys who have the expertise, they can guide you into, if you don't know what pass or you don't know how to tackle your day, what kind of an itinerary you're looking at, these are the steps and these are the help that you can receive. But again, there is someone for every single one of these passes, and then there's people who don't care about the passes at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what this episode is about is to understand what they are, what they can do for you, and, thank you, Kelton, how to purchase them.
Yes.
And, speaking of purchase, I want everyone to understand these distinctions. When you're staying at a Disney resort and you're purchasing your lightning lane, whatever pass, the 7 days out, let's say for argument's sake, you're going to do a single pass and a multi-pass for Magic Kingdom on the 5th. You can purchase both of those at the same time in a single transaction for that day. In that same day that you're purchasing, you can go ahead and purchase every single or any lightning lanes for any of the days of your trip.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a separate transaction per day, but you can stack up as many transactions for that day as you would want. Distinctly from the guests that are staying off property, they can only purchase whatever lightning lane pass they want 3 days before each park day. And yes, they can stack as many things as they want at that 3-day mark, but they can't on that day purchase for their entire trip. So if you're coming from out of state and you're staying for a whole week and you're going to 4 days of park, but you're staying off property, you're going to have to, at 3-day marks every single day, or every single, 3 days before every single park day, purchase your tickets. So another perk for staying on property. So I wanted to emphasize that because I know that a lot of people still get the confusion of when they can purchase what.
Oh.
You're on mute, sorry.
I hate when I mute. Oh my goodness. That's
It
how I won $1
happens.
million. Exactly. Just told you right
And
there.
why
and it's
you're
done.
paying for all of our premiere passes.
Good day.
So when you are, if you're staying on property doing that multi-pass for all of your days, or however many park days you're doing, this is that time where do the park day and the multi-pass that is the most important to you first.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we were,
Yes.
what's 7 days from now? So that would be Thursday, the day of the fam. So if we were going to, whatever that's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and so like you said, yes, it's
That's a strategy.
Another check mark.
Strategy.
Here's another tip. If Magic Kingdom is very important to you, put it towards the end of your trip and do that day first when you're choosing your passes. But if you put it towards the end of the trip, then you're not competing with all those 3-day ones that are, that have been. So
That's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
because the Magic Kingdom ones are the ones that are going to go faster.
Right.
That's,
it's the most
that's
popular
just
park.
what we've seen.
Always.
Yeah, that's what we've seen.
Especially if it's on the weekend that you're traveling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Great tip, Jen. So, kind of like a little quick recap. Can I use more than one type of Lightning Lane Pass in a day? Yes, we talked about single and multi-pass. How much do Lightning Lane Passes cost? Kelton did a great job going
Varies.
through. Yeah. It varies based on pass type, so single, multi, or premier. By date, you're going to have higher prices for holidays like Christmas and New Year's. the park, we just talked about Magic Kingdom being the most popular park. I mean, it's the iconic park. So that price is going to be substantially more and it's going to offer more attractions than, for instance, Animal Kingdom, the least popular and also has the least amount of rides. And then just regular demand. There are some days that there's just a lot more people going into the parks, like for instance on a Run Disney weekend. So prices might increase a little bit. And there is like no way of telling what those prices will be until they actually get released by Disney for all to see. Then when can I book lightning passes? We just talked about that. For Disney resort guests, 7 days before your check-in date. But if you're off property, like an annual pass holder myself, if I were to not be staying on property, 3 days before each park day that you're visiting.
I'll throw one in because that's one we haven't talked about yet. The tiering, just like it was before with Genie Plus, Tier 1, Tier 2. You can only pick one of the Tier 1s to start, and then 2 of the Tier 2s. Steph, I think you had already said that. Or 3 of the Tier 2s, except for Animal Kingdom. Or Jen, Jen, you did. Except for Animal Kingdom, that is
just
all in the same tier.
One pool.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we did go over that. I'm repeating it again because that's important.
No, listen, we're kind of all over the place, and it's good to kind of consolidate everything because it is a lot of information.
I do want to say,
I think it's good
that just because you're choosing a Tier 1 attraction doesn't mean that that's the only Tier 1 attraction that you can do. Once you use your first Lightning Lane pass in the morning, hopefully in the morning, and we'll go into that in a second, you can choose choose another Tier 1. So don't feel like, you're going to miss out on Slinky Dog for the whole day, because you didn't get it the first time around. So just keep that in mind. Do you want me to talk about that tip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess they've coined it the burner pass, but try to get, because you can't choose another one until you use the first one, try to get whatever you can. Hopefully something that you want, but it doesn't always work out like that. Get something first thing in the morning so that you can do that. Now, these can be modified. So you can go in once they're set and modify and refresh. You can just keep booking them as you're using them. And you can modify them. You can refresh them to get a better time. Again, this is where planning is important because that's going to put you on your phone. But you can do that ahead of time. So we just did ours for Saturday, for next Saturday, and the times were a little bit late. So we've been refreshing, but they also are going to, because of the 3-day, they're going to release a little bit more for the 3-day. So at the 3-day mark, we're definitely going to be refreshing that morning. So, because ours were kind of late in the afternoon, which kind of works out, but.
So you brought up a valid point about being able to go in and, refresh or modify. I just want to make it very clear because it happened to me and I was the one that did it in December. Be very careful and make sure you are modifying the correct pass or that you want to, because I did it and we lost our Toy Story Mania one, and that was an important one because Kenny wanted to do it. Now,
No.
we did standby in the morning, but I was trying to modify it to our alien saucer swirl to, I want to say it was Smuggler's Run, and I clicked the wrong one. Didn't even realize until about 2 hours later, and there was nothing that could have been done. However, closer towards Phantasmic, there was one that had popped up, and I was just luck of the draw. We were standing in line at the Lightning Academy, and we got it. But be very, very careful and pay attention to what you're doing when you're modifying.
Yeah, they are. I'm going to see if I can pull it up because they are very close together. in your My Disney Experience account. I'm going to see if I can pull it up to get it.
It is very important. We do have one more that probably worth talking about. So do you want to do the quick breakdown between Disneyland and Disney World, since you have it up on the show notes?
Yes, but before we go there, I honestly can't find that. And I have it somewhere and I can't find it.
I've done that so many times.
Ooh, there's a lot of notes. Sorry. I want to mention something I actually forgot to put on the notes. And this one's really important, and I think it's a very underrated perk to getting any kind system. When you purchase the multi-pass, and I want to say it's also going to be included the Premier Pass, not included in the single pass. So, multi-pass, Premier Pass most likely, don't quote me. You can enjoy photo perks. What does that mean? You can receive digital downloads of select attraction photos and videos from your day, captured with Disney PhotoPass service, plus access Disney PhotoPass lenses. That's included with your Skip the Line experience. I think that's awesome. I absolutely love seeing the pictures of me on attractions because I'm always making a funny face on purpose. Or if I am with friends, like we're always smiling, or just it's a cute. There really are cute pictures. So the fact that that is included in your purchase, and what's so crazy to me is that before you would kind of like scan in to be able to download your picture. Now, I mean, with Magic Bands and just the Disney technology, I don't know the back end of things, but you don't always have to scan it. Like, you know which one is yours. He'll take your picture, know where you're seated. I don't even know how, and you get your picture. Maybe it's not that difficult to understand, but I'm always blown away by that. Like, I just think it's so cool because cast member could have put me anywhere. It's not like I'm scanning into that particular chair so that Disney knows which one's mine for when it literally just appears on my Disney Experience app. Or at the end of the attraction, when you see them on screens, you know, you would use, I'm doing this. If you're seeing me, it looks like I'm going to knock over my computer, but I'm mimicking with my Magic Man scanning to get my picture because I'm saying, oh, that one's mine. I want it. Yeah, thank you. Like, I'm so funny. I'm just trying to scan to make a point.
I wish
I'm
y'all
ridiculous.
could see this. If you're not watching on YouTube, God,
I'm so committed. But you guys totally understand what I'm talking about.
I knew what you were doing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm picturing, like, I just got off Astro Blaster, you know, the Toy Story ride in Magic Kingdom, and I'm tracing the colored lines from each picture to try to find which one mine is, so I can scan in and have that picture downloaded to my Disney Experience. Oh my gosh.
I appreciate what Disney did there and the theming. But hello, you created a bottleneck with Astro Blaster. Like, we need to.
They don't give you a lot of time to do that either. You got to be quick.
You step off the ride.
They'll start switching. Yeah, I mean, anyways,
pick one person to go scan and let's get out of
here.
Yeah. And I can't stand it. Oh my.
And then you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and sometimes it doesn't show up,
or it's gone.
You know.
Yeah.
So does everybody have a photo of them playing dead on Space Mountain when you go around the curve for the picture?
Oh, absolutely.
I think everybody should. Everybody should have a photo playing dead.
Oh yeah, those are so. It's just so fun. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
I got Mike Wazowski'd on our Frozen ride. I did. It's a perfect Mike Wazowski. My husband put his arms up, and his hand is like right in front of my face.
I made the front cover.
I love that so much.
If you don't know, go watch Monsters Inc.
Yes.
Great movie. Anyways, we did not touch upon that, and clearly I have a very, very passionate about these digital downloads that you get just from the Disney universe, because wow, right? But anyways, Kelton, I still can't find it in my show notes.
That's okay.
You were asking what the difference between Walt Disney World and Disneyland is?
Make it, a nice, quick.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it brief. Disneyland's Lightning Lane system is Genie Plus. It is the exact same system that we had but with the new name. They haven't changed how the skip the line experience is. So if you understand Genie Plus, you will fit right into Disneyland. You can stack. You've heard us talk about stacking. As soon as you scan into one ride, you can keep adding. You can only get 2 at a time, but I don't know. It flows, and like we've talked about too, you also don't feel like you're in the phone as much, but once they're gone, they're gone. So there are similarities, but it's just the one pass, and that's it too. So there's no single, there's no premiere. It's just one pass. You want it, you don't. It's very, very simple. So yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say about Disneyland. So that's why this episode is Walt Disney World, because it is a lot more, there's a lot more involved, a little bit more complicated, and you got different passes. So love my Disneyland, but they got it easier.
Well, I mean, we definitely dived into, as they would say, well, anywhere, the meat and potatoes of Lightning Lane at Disney World in general. There's a lot of information that we went over in the last, about 58 minutes here. So I'm going to finish off with this. You got 2 ways to get this information. Number 1, well, 3 ways. Number 1, work with a travel agent, an authorized Disney vacation planner. I'm just going to put it like that. Number 2, mouseearsblog.com. There's 2 great articles that our very own Steph wrote. She did fantastic. Go read them there. Number 3, email us, podcast@mouseearsblog.com. If you have questions, you can email us there. I mean, all of our contact information is in the show notes, this and that. But definitely, if you're feeling confused, heck, even go to YouTube. There's probably thousands of videos of how to do that out there as well.
Disney, on the Disney website, they do have a tutorial there too. I definitely recommend it. It's always sometimes it's easier to see it than it is to read it. Depends on how you like to process your information. So
maybe that'll be a video we need to work on for YouTube, is just getting a screenshot of,
love it. Absolutely.
How to do it. Brooks, we need you on that. I don't know how to do it. Brooks is our tech guy.
Love it. So, that's true.
Fantastic.
But at the end of the day, our biggest tips are plan ahead and book as early as you can, and you'll hopefully get a good selection.
And I don't know if we said it, but the booking window opens at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So be ready at 7 a.m. Eastern time. If you're on property, 7 days before your trip. If you're off property, 3 days before your trip.
Get it.
Get it.
Any last minute tips or personal experiences to share? Nope.
Be careful when you're modifying people.
Well, I want to just reiterate that it is not you're going to go straight to the front of the line and get on without a wait. This puts you in the Lightning Lane. There will be other people in the Lightning Lane. It will be significantly shorter. If a ride breaks down or if something happens, the Lightning Lane can get a little bit lengthy. Not like really long, but I'm just saying pack your patience when you're doing that too. It'll get you through much faster, but should
be
something
kind.
happen, be kind to the cast members. And just know it's not going to be a pass for you to go and get even the premier pass right onto the ride. You still have to go through the Lightning Lane. And if there's, 20 or 30 people in there, you're going to have to wait in that small little line. So I just want to put that it's not an immediate, you're going to walk right onto the ride. It could be, but they're not going to guarantee that.
Could be on Mission Space every time.
Every time.
Just kidding. Don't quote me. All right. So with that being said, thanks, Jenny. Is the Lightning Lane Pass the best option for you?
You tell us.
Hopefully this has been a helpful episode. I mean, there's a lot there. I sincerely apologize for my rant at the beginning about the names. Notice how we just try to stick with the single pass, multi-pass, or premier pass names, because Lightning Lane. Anyways, honestly though, I hope this has been helpful. Please let us know if you have enjoyed it and if you listened to us before your next trip and if it, was positive for you. That kind of about sums it up, I think, pretty well. With that being said, and without further ado, Kelton, do you want to bring us
do.
a trivia answer? Thank you.
I do. So if you remember back, our trivia question was, what was the first skip the line experience introduced at Disneyland? And what was it called? This was an interesting one. And we're going into a little bit of the history as well. The answer is the e-ticket system was what it was called. Now the history, because it was pretty cool. So the e-ticket system was introduced in 1959 at Disneyland. It allowed guests to skip lines at the park's most popular attractions, of course, like the one and only the Matterhorn bobsleds. The e-ticket system was used at Disneyland from 1959 until 1982. And in 1982, Disney introduced the ticket bookless admission model, where guests paid a single price for entry and could enjoy unlimited access to all rides. This was a major shift in how tickets worked at the park, moving away from the need for individual ride tickets. The spirit still lingers of the e-ticket system as the modern versions, like our Lightning Lane system, but the physical e-ticket itself was gone after. So your e-ticket attractions, y'all just look at your tier 1 when you're looking at the Lightning Lane. Those most likely would have had a ticket booklet or,
It was like the
ticket
paper.
in the
Like
book.
you would rip them off, and it was, you had to pay for each of those.
If you are a pin
tickets.
collector like myself, I don't know if you can find them anymore, but there's actually a set of 5 pins, and each one of them is the, A, B, C, D, and E with the attractions written on there. So a little
Isn't
piece
that
of
so
history.
cool? I
That's
love
cool.
that. I love that you have those pens. But yeah, I can't imagine like purchasing, that little ticket and then just
Yeah.
that's what, now with technology, it's just how far we've come. But
Yeah.
isn't it also crazy to think that the quote unquote skip the line experience or tickets, that's been around for forever,
Still being used
one way or
today.
another, right? The demand is there. So anyways, one last thing, again, just to recap the Lightning Lane system. I did mention we've mentioned prices fluctuate, but in case we weren't super clear, passes do sell out. We say book
Mhm.
early, not just because rides opportunities can book up and fill up, but there are a limited amount of these passes. It's not just unlimited. If not, then the Lightning Lane lines would always be long, right? So we want you all to understand that these can sell out. So when we say book early, it's not just to secure the rides you want, but also to secure the pass that you want as well. So with that being said, Mouse Ears Universe, that about does it for this week's episode of the Mouse Ears Podcast. Don't forget to join our Mouse Ears Podcast Facebook group and follow us on our official social media accounts, TikTok, Instagram, now X, and we now have a Facebook page too, not just a discussion group. So go ahead and follow us, whatever social media platform you prefer, to stay up to date with all things travel, but mostly Disney. And if you're interested in having a Fairy Tale Journeys agent book your next trip or help you with your Lightning Lane, visit fairytalejourneys.com and let them know that the podcast sent you. Do not forget, working with an authorized Disney vacation planner agency basically gets you an agent for free. It is free. Lastly, if you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend or leave us a review wherever you listen to us. Until the next episode, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.